Welcome to Trainer Sculpt. My name is Jared Hines, and this is what you need to do to know where you are with trainer tips in under 10 minutes. So without further ado, let's get right on into this. Have you ever heard the phrase before? It goes like this. It goes, facts tell, but stories sell. Have you ever heard that before? Maybe you have, maybe you haven't. A long time ago, I'd say probably it was about 15 or so years ago, I was at an event, and it was a very pressing event. There was about 10 to 15,000 people that were at this event. The music was blaring. There were very inspirational people who were up on the stage, and there was a guy, he ended up getting up on the stage, and he ended up telling this incredible story about where he was and then how he got to where he was at. And I just remember sitting in that crowd, and my emotion, it was just like from my head, top of the head to the bottom of my feet. I could just feel it in the inner depths of me, just how real and genuine this story was. And it really hit me because I wanted that. And I remember I got done with that event and I went up to one of my mentors, and she's like, Jared, what did you take away from this event? And I was like, I'm very inspired and motivated. She's like, would you like to know why? I was like, well, yes, I would. And she's like, that's because, Jared, he knows so much when it comes to the fitness industry. However, he did not communicate one thing about it, and it transformed you, didn't it? And I said, yes, it did. And then she then looked at me dead in the eye and she said, Jared, that's because when you understand this one thing, everything changes. It's that facts tell, but stories sell. Facts will overload somebody with everything that you know, but a story will pierce that veil and go directly to their heart. And that is where somebody ends up making a decision, is when the emotion is involved. And storytelling is how you do it. In fact, I just used storytelling with you right now, and you more than likely had a visual going on through your head as I was telling that story. Maybe you also felt it from the top of your head to the bottom of your feet. At least you saw a snidbit of what I was painting for you to see. Because that's the power of storytelling. And this episode is going to share with you and show you exactly how you can use that, not to just find where you're at in your mountain, but it's also going to set you up from the standpoint of actual leadership and leading from the front these people on this journey to where it is that you're taking them. So let's get right on into this. So there are three components to a story. Now, if you don't know where you are, how will they know where you are taking them? You're taking your people on a journey. This isn't a weight loss journey. This isn't a fitness journey. This is a life transformation journey. Trainers and training people, that's transactional, even though they may get them a result. But a coach delivers transformation. A coach takes inspiration and boom, drives it into whoever it is that they're working with to really induce an actual transformation from the inside out. And they do this via proper and effective storytelling. Now, here is a recap of the mountain. The mountain, the bottom third, is the confused. If you haven't had a chance to go and see the 3 C's that personal trainers need, please go and watch that video. It's gonna clear a lot of this up for you. The second level is the concise level. The last level is the clear level, but it's also where you're able to identify who you are called to serve. Now, let's get into these 3 components of a story so that you can be able to, hopefully, if you're in the confused side, you can go up to the concise. If you're in concise, you can move up higher towards absolute clarity. And then if you are clear already, be able to navigate and go to the bottom of the mountain to grab all the confused people, to then bring them up. Why? Because you have the best path forward. You have the best map to go from here to here and sell someone their results and not sell them sessions. All right, let's go. The first component is your origin. Every story has an origin. Where was the hero? Where were they? Where is your beginning point of the story? The story that I told, the beginning point, the origin of that was I was at an event with 10 to 15,000 people. And it was just any other day until he got on the stage. Whoa. That's when the transition of the adversity and the inner battle end up taking place. And that battle happened on my inside. It really hit me in the heart, and I was tossing back and forth with, why was I here and why was I not up on the stage? Why was he a fitness pro and why was I considered one, but yet I wasn't one at the same exact time? What was the difference between him and I? Because I thought I knew what I needed to know until it was revealed that I knew nothing about what I actually needed to know, which was, how do I tell good stories? How do I pierce that veil? And I'm sharing with you the exact things that you are going to need in order to pierce the veil, in order to succeed in the online space. Because when you do this, you will begin to go from transactional to transformational, not just a fitness transformational, a true transformation. Now, then you have the victory. The victory is the third part of how to tell your story, right? So you have the origin. Where did you begin at? What adversity or battle did you go through? What problem, what roadblock got in your way that separated you from where you were to where you wanted to be, right? It separated you from confused to clear. The thing that I learned is that vulnerability created credibility. And in that credibility, I was able to find who I was. Same exact thing will apply for you. Who are you? It then brings to the third component, which is the victory. What was the end result? What happened? The end result in the first story I told you was we got done and one of my mentors looked at me and said, what did you learn? And then the victory came in the form of an answer. The answer was, facts tell, but stories sell. What is your story? They don't teach us this in any personal training academy. Heck, I don't even think that they teach it in school. But nonetheless, it is the most important piece of this entire mountain. Because if you don't know where you are, if you don't know what your story is, how will they know where you're taking them? Because now it goes from your story to creating their story with you, which then brings it in for a landing that your story, as you navigate up, creates leadership. And that, my friend, is exactly what you were placed here for, to be a leader. Anyways, you enjoyed this, like the video, comment below, hit the subscribe button. Look forward to seeing you on the next episode. Peace.